they're accumulating silver at a level the world has never seen before. And, this is something that should not be taken lightly. And this is something to me that really betrays all of it. And that is just this week, we saw 3,830 silver contracts delivered, right? Delivered. And well, that doesn't sound like a lot. Only 3,830. Multiply that times 500, you get 19,150,000 ounces delivered in one day. Now, who's got that kind of money to deliver that kind of silver? And, this is something that is accelerating.
In 2023, the silver market charted a structural deficit of 184.3 million ounces. The projection is for an even larger supply shortfall this year, in the neighborhood of 215 million ounces. This would be the second largest silver market deficit ever recorded. Diving into the world of silver, Andy Schectman, president of Miles Franklin, issued a crucial warning for silver stackers, highlighting the rapidly changing dynamics of the market. He underscored China's growing influence, noting that as the world's second-largest silver producer after Mexico, China has been aggressively offering premiums to secure silver supplies. At one point, these premiums reached as high as $4 per ounce over spot prices, reflecting the country's strong demand. Schectman also speculated that tech innovators like Elon Musk and others would soon explore new technologies that heavily depend on silver, further intensifying demand. His message to silver stackers is clear. The demand for silver is not only rising for traditional uses, but also expanding due to emerging technologies, making the metal an increasingly valuable asset in the future. Chinese silver imports have also surged, hitting a three-year high of 390 tons last December. In June and July this year, imports broke through the 400-ton level. A year ago, import levels were half that, averaging in the 200-ton range. The Shanghai Metals Exchange has reported a significant surge in silver volume, with prices consistently higher than Western exchanges. The price premium in China compared to the West has been as high as 10%. This signals an extremely strong demand for silver in China. China isn't the only Asian country with an increasing appetite for silver. Indian silver imports are set to double. India's silver imports surged by 260% in February to a record high, as lower duties encouraged large purchases from the United Arab Emirates, UAE. Government and industry officials told Reuters, adding they were on track to increase by 66% this year. Schectman believes India is on track to accumulate around 7,000 tons of silver this year, a sharp increase from last year's record of 4,550 tons. He noted that this is an unprecedented level of silver accumulation that the world has never seen before. Join us as we dive into the video for a deeper look. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to stay informed about our latest updates.
So let's start with the fact that we've got India right now, who has just come out and said they're going to double their silver imports this year. And just by looking at some of the numbers that we've already seen, in February, their imports surged by 260%. And they bought in February alone 2,295 tons. A lot of times these statistics come out a few months after the fact. And putting that amount into perspective, the 2,295 tons, you put that into perspective, and it's 70 million ounces more silver than the United States Mint has produced in American Eagle silver coins over the past 3 years combined. So you got India, who is on a pace to accumulate somewhere in the neighborhood of 7,000 tons this year. Compared to last year, they did 4,550 tons, which was a record year. They're accumulating silver at a level the world has never seen before. And, this is something that should not be taken lightly. And then how many people even know that China is the second largest producer of silver in the world?
Yeah, it used to be Mexico and Peru.
Yeah,
so
and now China's up to number two, in between Mexico and Peru. And yet they find it important enough to accumulate silver to whereby they are putting as high as a $4 premium. It's backed off a little bit. It's over $3 premium. It's north of 10% on the Shanghai price that they will pay for silver delivered to Shanghai versus what you can get it for in London or New York, and therefore incentivizing arbitrage. So they're the second largest producer in the world. They have an elevated premium so that they can attract anything that's not nailed down by the sophisticated traders who can buy in the West and deliver in the East. And now I've had it validated by Sean from Dolly Varden and by others like Keith Newmeyer who talk about the Chinese going throughout Latin America, paying much higher than the West will for unrefined silver in doré and concentrate form and shipping it back for refining in China. Huge deal. Of course, we can talk about the Samsung battery that everyone's talked about, the solid state battery that will achieve such benchmarks as a 600-mile radius, 20-year lifespan, and 9-minute charge. My daughter owns a Tesla, and I will tell you that it gets at best about 350 to 400 miles, and it's the extended range version. It takes at minimum, if you use a high power charger, I forgot what they're called, the quick charge that you can find like at a Target or some of the malls or whatnot that Tesla has all over the place. Minimum of 45 minutes to an hour. If she charges it at home, which is the 240-watt current, I believe, the same level that your clothes dryer runs off of, it takes all night. It will charge by the morning. Um, and of course, the lifespan, 20 years, I guess that remains to be seen how long the Tesla batteries last. But this is the real deal. And it takes as much as a kilo of silver per battery. And they're already in talks with manufacturers like Toyota and whatnot. So I'm sure Elon Musk will figure that out too. And the expansion of uses for silver is dramatic.
As the clock ticks towards 2025, the global market braces for the profound impact of industrial and military silver demand on inventories. Stakeholders across sectors must navigate this evolving landscape with strategic foresight and innovation to mitigate the looming supply crunch. In a stark projection, industry experts warn that silver inventories are on the brink of depletion by 2025, driven by surging industrial demand. This development could have far-reaching implications for markets, investors, and industries reliant on the precious metal. Schectman expressed his belief that silver is the best investment he's encountered in his 34 years in finance, with gold following closely. He explained that silver, which is still trading at nearly half its all-time peak from 1980, has had its real value suppressed by the London Metals Exchange, COMEX, and bullion bankers. He predicted that one day, people would look back and wonder why they didn't trust their instincts when silver was so undervalued.
Industrial demand, what does that really mean? I mean, look at the Silver Institute numbers, and that takes out of the equation, as we've talked about before, military uses. And we know that they use a copious amount in military. That doesn't really even speak about monetary uses. And so, yeah, it's one of these deals. And I know, what we talk about on your channel is primarily silver, but I think it's important to also bring into the context gold because they are connected so closely. And, first of all, if we look at the same criteria, gold delivered on the August contract so far is almost 30% of the entire registered category, meaning the registered category are the bars that are available for delivery backing the contracts. 30% of it was delivered already, nearly, in just the August contract. And, that works out to 4,142 100-ounce contracts. So let's see how much money that is, right? 4,142 times 100, that's 414,200 ounces. Let's just call it times 2,500. That's 1,035,500,000, if I'm not mistaken. The point of it is that who the hell's got that kind of bread to stand for that kind of delivery? In quarter two of 2024, over 330 tons of gold, or 10.6 million ounces of gold, was delivered off the London over-the-counter market, or the LBMA. So when you talk about gold and silver, you can see the massive value that very sophisticated investors are seeing in not only accumulating huge amounts, but give me it, taking it off the exchange, removing counterparty risk. And that's something that I think is really worth talking about. And again, talking about the same thing we said about silver, the LBMA says they trade 17 million ounces of gold, but they admit that it is in the London Liquidity Survey. They admit that it's 10 times the daily net settled clearing volume, which would mean they're trading 170 million ounces of gold per day. It is this type of rehypothecation, this type of shenanigans that is making the rest of the world say, no, 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 I'll stand for delivery. Thank you very much. And whether it be gold or silver, this is a trend that is accelerating. And I say this, yes, as the owner of a large gold company, but more as someone who's trying to be completely straight with the public. There is no better investment I've ever seen in 34 and a half years of finance than silver, period. And gold is right there, but the leverage that you get and an asset that is still trading, almost half of its all-time peak from 1980 is something that has been skewed, its real value skewed by the London Metals Exchange and the COMEX and the bullion bankers who suppress the price. Someday people will look back, like you said, and say, my God, why didn't I trust my gut on that? I don't know that I've ever seen a better value.
While the world's attention has been fixed on geopolitical tensions between China and the West, a more subtle and strategic battle has been unfolding in the global financial markets. China, through a series of deliberate moves, has been quietly amassing vast quantities of gold and silver. Now, India has joined the fray, significantly increasing its presence in the precious metals market. With the growing global industrial demand for silver, pressure on prices could intensify. In 2023, industrial demand for silver reached a record 654.4 million ounces, and it's expected to hit even higher levels this year. Are you investing in precious metals like gold and silver? If so, what's driving your decision? Share your feedback in the comments below. If you found this video useful, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to keep up with our latest updates. We appreciate you being a part of this journey.